I'm excited.
Yeah. So I am so excited to start telling people about what I'd like to start creating and what I am creating, and I've really enjoyed looking up on YouTube the kindness, the random acts of kindness that are out there. One thing that I know and that I really enjoy is that when we actually see acts of kindness ourselves, that affects our own brains, that affects our own hearts, and that can start a cascade of physiological sensations that help uplift us, and those around us, of course, will benefit, like our families.
Yeah.
And another thing is when we just go out of our way to witness acts of kindness, that can really bless us. So one thing that I would like to also invite people to a possibility of is actually going more out of their way than they have been. I'm friends with a lot of people that are already kind and naturally kind, and I suspect a lot of people who are joining us in this broadcast already have a heart for being kind. One thing that I recently did, Angela, before I introduce you, I'll tell you what I've been up to, is that I started my own Dive Into Kindness 30-day challenge, and I did for 30 days. I stretched myself every single day to really do something kind for not only for other people, but for myself as well. Depending on the day, what I know, because I'm a busy mom, and sometimes it's like, well, what if the kindest thing that stretched me out of my comfort zone was actually receiving a kindness for myself? One of the days that I started with, I was able to give some kindness to myself that I normally wouldn't receive to myself, and I went and I soaked in some crystal hot springs, and oftentimes we're just too busy or whatever, and it's like, well, our bodies can receive that nurturing. So if you're interested, folks, I'd love for you to actually go and look at my blog that's to the right here. I had so much fun, and day number 29 and 30 especially, I'll tell you a little more later, or you can watch the video. But right now, what I'd really like to do is, for the focus of this hangout, and what my intention is to begin to speak with people that inspire me and that have been in their community behaving in ways that are extraordinary in being a kindness advocate, and helping people just be inspired by that. And so today my very special guest is Theresa from New York City, one of my my dad's stomping grounds of the past. And Theresa is a very talented lady, and I would like you to tell you as much about yourself as you'd like, and then we'll go right into what you've been doing with kindness.
Okay. Well, I'm kind of what do you call a Renaissance woman. That's what I would call it, because I kind of do a little of everything. My passion is acting and singing on the stage. The dancing, I would say, working on that. Just started taking tap dancing classes after all these years. Again. But I'm also a psychic medium of some fame, I guess. I have international clients, but I'm only English speaking. So if you're watching this and I don't speak any other languages except American Sign Language. So if you want a sign reading, I can speak with the deaf to do American Sign Language. But I mostly have been making my living through doing psychic medium readings lately. I do it on the phone. And I also work with acting and singing. I audition. I'm in the Actors Equity, which is great, and a wonderful union for actors from New York on the stage. I've done some TV and film, but that's my passion is the stage and helping people. So if you want to know about that, and I thought, even as a child, when I wanted to be, quote, a movie star, I always thought that was because I see people like Oprah Winfrey, Brad Pitt, Angelina Jolie, who give, and they build houses and schools for people that need it. And also, years ago when I heard about Habitat for Humanity, they build houses for the homeless, help them, they build it themselves. And those kind of things really excite me. And you ever watch Home Edition, Extreme Makeover Home Edition? That was my dream. They stole my show. If I ever got that rich, I wanted to build houses for people who needed them, and I thought that was really cool that they did it. I don't know how to build a house, but I would say that those kind of things inspired me even as a small child, that I would see. I wasn't a small child when I came on, but when I was a kid, like you said, acts of kindness excited me. And I thought if you were a movie star, I thought they were all rich and famous, learn differently, but if you're out there in the public eye, which I thought was I knew was my calling as a small child, to be in the public eye, you can reach so many more humanity, so many more people. So I think that's where the passion came from. It wasn't that I needed to be famous, but I thought if I were, I could reach so many people and help them and teach them what I've been learning, that what you give out into the world, and you give to yourself, like you said, you have to love yourself before others can love you. And that's what I learned through different things. But I also love giving to people because it's exciting. I love to buy gifts for birthdays or just for no reason, just to see people be happy. It's just cool to me, and it's exciting.
Yeah, absolutely. The thing that drew me to you, and I, invited you on first, is really when I watched a YouTube video. One of the first YouTube videos I watched was about something that somebody chose to create on a subway in New York City. Will you talk a little bit about that, please?
You mean what I did on the subway?
Yeah. What was that video all about? What?
Yes. Back in 2007, I was heading on one of my many birthdays. Not that many. I'm only 25. And that's the only lie I'll tell. But what happened on my birthday? I had a group called the Law of Attraction Meetup Group in Queens. I lived in Queens at the time. And Law of Attraction is the Abraham Hicks study about, that everything you want is here, and it's about like sources available for everyone. And I thought that there are people who don't know that. That's really been my goal, is to spread that you can have whatever you want, and really, ask for what you want. So I said, for my birthday, what do I want to do? Instead of me receiving gifts, which I do all the time, every day, I recognize that. I said, on my birthday, my dream has been to hand out. Oprah Winfrey had a special where she gave $2,500 to like 12 people in her audience at the time when she had her show, and she said the only deal was that she was going to give you a camcorder, and you had to give away the $2,500 any way you wanted. And it was around Christmas time. So I said, I want to do that for my birthday. I want to give away money on my birthday to other people, give them gifts. So my group and we thought, let's do this on my birthday, and we all give away what we can. Because we are people still working on our arts and everything else, we all decided we could do $100 a piece. And we thought, we want to reach as many people as we can, so we got $5 bills. Because there's people on the subway. Okay, this was our idea. You get the homeless people on the subway, which is really sad, and they come on, and they interrupt you on your commute home. Some people get very upset in New York about that. They go, sorry to interrupt you, but I've had a hard time. My kid needs surgery. I haven't eaten for 3 weeks. I got fired from my job. Can anybody spare a penny, anything, some change? And they kind of get in your face, and it can be very annoying. And some of them are alcoholics. Some of them are not. Some people are with their families. I see women with their children. And so I'm like, I like to give them money if I can, but I don't like to be forced. But I thought, what it would be cool if we got on the subway and we said, hi, everyone, sorry to interrupt you on your busy commute, because we're always like a little irritable. And I'm going to give you some money because I'm doing great. And boy, the reaction we got. So we did it. We got the camcorder, and we each took our $100 a piece, split up into $5 bills, 3 of us, so we had $300 in total, put them in nice little envelopes, and we walked around with like a little note, like, you're wonderful, you're great, and we went around on the subway. We came on one at a time, and each one of us had a car, and we would say, hi, everyone, I'm sorry to interrupt you on your commute, but I'm doing really well, and I'd like to affirm my prosperity by giving you all a $5 bill if you would like one, because we also don't want to do what they don't want. Like, I don't want people to say, you have to give me $1, but if they say, would you please give me $1, that's great. So we switched people one by one and said, would you like $5 today? And the reactions we got were, some of them were fantastic. Some were like, no, no, thank you, because people in New York are a little like scared you're giving them something. And we're like, no, it's just a $5 bill. And some of them were very grateful. Some were very happy. So, like, one of my favorite ones was a young college student. And I don't know if you can handle bad language on here, but it's really quick. But yeah. I said, would you like $5? And she goes, I don't have fuck. Okay, I said, well, now you have $5 for fuck or whatever you want. And she said, thank you. I was all happy. A little college student, little girl, about 19. I call them little girls because I'm a little older. And then the other one, we had a homeless guy on the train, because they often ride on the train, because the weather varying. And there was a homeless guy in the corner thing, kind of keeping to himself. He wasn't begging or anything. And we said, would you like $5? And he said, he looked a little curious, opened the envelope, and he started kissing it and saying, thank you, I love you, thank you. And he was so happy. And he kept thanking us as we walked to the next car. He was just the happiest person I ever saw. $5 to him was like handing one of us 100,000. I mean, he really was very excited. He goes, oh, I've needed this. He was so happy. And he looked a little hungry. He was very thin. So I think we bought him a wonderful meal, and he had such a good time. So it was fun. I mean, it was greatest. It was the greatest birthday I had because I felt so good. Like nothing made my day better. That's how. And we posted it on Facebook in 2 parts.
Oh yeah, yeah. You know, I think I would like to have that YouTube story into my blog if that's okay. Was that okay with you? I can post that on my blog later.
Oh, that'd be great. Yeah. Yeah, I like people to visit the blog because I have good stuff there, and I try to put that stuff out there. I started a new group on Facebook called the Giving Group, where I will post things like if you have indie things where you're trying to do a show, or you know somebody who, like we had a young man who's had a good friend die in another state, and he had no way to get there to this funeral, and she left behind a young daughter, and so we put it on there, like on the Indiegogo, where you can get money. There's also other groups like GoFundMe or FundMe, and people put up programs about the situation. And so he gathered like $600 to go to the funeral of an ex-fiance and help her little daughter, because he got more than what he asked for just to get there for the funeral, and he gave the rest of the money to this little 2-year-old child, to her fund, because her mother had passed away. And so I started the Giving Group for these kinds of things, or if you want to pass out money on the subway. And I've invited you, you know, you're there now, to post anything you do. And stuff like if you hand out money, or if you do kindnesses for yourself. I agree with that. There's a book called The Artist's Way from way back, and it talks about taking yourself on a date once a week to just yourself and do something you want to. It also talks about once a week entertaining your inner child, meaning buying a coloring book and crayons and coloring because you want to, because you have to entertain your little 5-year-old inside of you. And that's how you get nurturing for yourself and giving to yourself. I like the spa day or going to the hot springs, because once a week you should do something for yourself to keep filling up the way I learned it years ago, you fill up your cup of love, and then you have something to pour out of it to other people. But if you don't fill up your own cup, you become resentful and angry. And the law of attraction also teaches, we were talking about homeless people. If you give to homeless people in the subway, you do it like, yeah, I guess I have to because they're guilting me into it. You shouldn't give. You should only give when you feel like you want to, and also with the belief that you have the love to spare. I have plenty of money, so I can give $1 or $2 to the homeless guy. If he buys a bottle of liquor, that's his choice. That's his joy right now. So that's fine with me, and I don't have a problem with it. And then you could also do what they say in law of attraction, is you hand him the $2, and I imagine them going to a nice hotel room for the night and having a hot shower and getting clean, or having a wonderful meal, instead of seeing it for the negative side of it. And that he gets sick or gets rehab, whatever it means. That way, I'm giving with feeling good about what I'm giving.
You know, I'd like to really acknowledge you for that, and actually that is so cool that I would like to do something like that. And I've seen a few people actually do a day of kindness, random acts of kindness on their birthday, that actually are so heartwarming and so inspiring to know that that's the day of your birth that you chose to receive by giving. Yeah. And I wanted to emphasize that you do it when you feel like it, so that it's something enjoyable, something that is pleasurable, and it also can be an investment in yourself. Because one thing that I'll be honest, I've struggled for years with depression, and one thing that I know and that I would like to invite you to the possibility of is that being kind and focusing outside myself, focusing outside yourself, would that possibly help alleviate your symptoms of depression is as much, if not more, than taking your antidepressant.
Well, they have found my issue has been mostly depression is not as bad for me as it is anxiety, and that's just it's similar field, you know. And I've been on and off anti-anxiety medication. Now, not much. I've only been on anti-anxiety twice, and I'm on it again because I had some issues with anxiety a few months ago. But I, for years, have studied the depression. I had depression as a child, and I didn't take medication. My mother didn't believe in it. So she taught me, she's Christian, which it doesn't matter what religion you are, but she always taught what you give out comes back to you tenfold, and that helping others helps you with that. And it certainly taught me a lot, and it's true. My mother brought people into the house. She would help them. If we have a meal, we share it. She's also from the South, so that's what the Southern hospitality is about. What we have, we share. She's a depression baby. So she grew up, and 14 children in her family, and they shared what they had. If they didn't have a lot, we'll give you a piece of bread. We'll split it up 14 ways if we have to, or 15 or 20, and then you do what you can. So I was brought up with that, which is wonderful. And I find I've read and studied and also, you know, had a little bit of therapy here and there. That is true, what you were saying about depression and even anxiety. When you're depressed, what they've done for teens who get suicidal back in my day, before they drug them up, they used to have them, like, you get them a puppy if they're not violent people. You get them a puppy or a kitten, because if they have to care for something, they find that they get out of that suicidal depression because something loves them unconditionally, and they take care of it, and they find their mind gets away from their own thoughts, which causes the depression and the suicide. So they're focused on this animal to keep it alive, and it loves them, and it warms up to them, and that's a wonderful way to help them. Also, if you go out and volunteer and help people, like I volunteered as a teenager to help me through some of my anxiety issues and depression. I worked at the crisis nursery, which was where they got sad cases but abused children. And these children were just babies. I was working with the baby department, and they were tiny babies. And let me tell you, these children are so happy, and they're there, and if they see love, they just respond so quickly, and they were happy. They love to talk to you and play with you, and depending on their age, they talk to you anyways, even if they don't talk baby talk. You know that as a mother. They're very happy when there's a good person there. And I loved it. They would call me in. I'm not a social worker. I was just a teenager. And they would call me in and say, you know, the baby you helped yesterday, you were with all day, she won't settle down for anybody, but will you come in and play with her for a few hours, because that's the only way we can get her to go to sleep. And she was 1 year old. And she just loved me. And so they would call me in to help with particularly sad children, because they said I just cheered them up. And it could have been the performing arts. I was a theater person. So I could make them happy. I knew how to entertain children and people. But I also helped them. And it helped me through, it got me through everything. It's what got me through it. So I had a great time in high school. My depression was gone, and I had a great time helping people and doing my high school activities. And theater also. But theater, you help people. I did children's theater. So there you go. And little kids, I did a children's fairy tale, and the best compliment I've ever gotten for my acting, one of them, is a little girl came to me after a show. I played a princess, and she goes, I wish I could come live with you in Princess Land and be a princess just like you. And I thought that was the best. A little 4 or 5 year old girl, I said, you are a princess. And I told her she's my princess. So it's just wonderful to get those kind of things where children just find happiness, and adults. But helping people, I agree with you. That's a way to get out of depression.
Yeah, your passion is obvious. And
Yeah,
I would like to invite you to tell us about one thing especially, particularly, that I know you've been doing for, tell us how long you've also been doing it, and also I'd like to invite you to share any inspiring stories about how the love notes, talk about the love notes and how that possibly has helped you and other people that you've, tell us about the love notes.
I love that, and I'll just show you a little example, because you can see here. So this is just green paper that I cut into heart shape, which is fun. I've heard about this before. I've done it before. I think I've done it years ago. Now it's a big movement. Back in the day, they would have you, when I did shows, actually it's kind of how it really started, when you do a show, you give a gift on opening night to your other actors. And years ago, when I started doing shows when I was 8 years old, but what I would do, I think my mother taught me this, but I would write on opening night, I would write a note to each one of my actors, a very personal note, meaning that it's great working with you, I love the way you portrayed this role. Just to help them, especially when you're working with teenagers and even people who are just starting acting. This was community theater. They feel good that you're giving them a compliment. As an actor myself, it's nice to hear, oh, you did great, I really believed you. So I would write them notes about how I love the way they did the part. And I was taught all my life that there's good in everybody. And when you are an actor and you're playing, like, let's say, an evil ruler, and I don't, but everybody, even evil people, do not believe they're evil, but they love something or someone. So you want to find with people what it is that's loving about them. And so I did this with my classmates. Then recently, when I started the giving group about what we did on the train and giving out money, I said, oh my gosh, I heard about this, the love letters. Like, there's a place called globalloveletters.com, and there's also something, loveletters.com, but there's all kinds of movement. I think it started in Europe. And, oh, no, a woman in New York. She was going to college, and she's very famous now. She started this love letter movement. She would write love letters to other students and put it in their mailbox, anonymous ones, just saying something to cheer up their day, giving them a quote. Some people write really short ones, giving them a quote, and it's become kind of a big worldwide thing, so people have started groups. And so what we do is you can take whatever you want, stationery, my little white paper that I cut into hearts, and you write a love note as if you were writing to, you can imagine that you're writing to your best friend. Because I would say I would make them non-gender specific because you don't know where they're going to go in this case. So you write what you would like to hear. Like, you know, mine, this one says just a short one, and I kind of took it from different places in my own words and some other people's words. Hello, amazing you. Yes, I was told to write this letter for you today. The universe said you were ready to accept your new path. That's they're only good. Today it has arrived for you. Truly you are blessed and have been happily blessed too. You are a beacon of light. More good is coming toward you, for you, from this day forward. When you smile, it truly lifts the spirits of those around you. You are incredible, gifted, important, cherished, and loved. Your presence itself has made life a more beautiful, safe, and loving place for those you've interacted with, no matter how long. Love, light, and laughter. We love you, the universe, the angels, and me, your anonymous friend. And you can sign it any way you want. Some people sign their first name, they sign their name. It's up to you. And you can write a short one. You can do a quote saying, you are amazing, keep going, and just hand it to them. It could be a little stick-it note, post-it note. And what people are doing with these letters like I do, I put them in an envelope, and I don't have any right here, but they're on the Giving group on Facebook. You can check that out. And you put on the envelope, this is for you. If you see this letter, you found it, it's for you. And they open it up and they read these notes. You can also slip in $1 if you'd like. I've done that a few times. And I also, some of the notes I write in a beautiful cursive because I like to make it pretty. And you can put stickers on it, you can draw hearts. And you can also print them. Like if you're putting them, I put them in your middle schools, I do print them in case the child doesn't read cursive. And try to make them a little shorter, you know, a little. And I put them in this envelope. Sometimes I stuff $1 in. And I want to put more. My dream is to be able to put $10 in every one for, like, you know, for Christmas time, or $50. But I put them, and then you tape them places. You put them on subways. You put them on seats of buses. And one time we decided to see what the reaction would be. I don't always get to see the reaction because I leave, and I try to do it so they don't see me doing it. So we were on a train, and we set it on the seat across from us on the train, my friend and I. And we watched as people came in and kind of looked at it because there's a lot of trash on the train. People throw things on the ground all the time. But it was on the seat. And this guy looking very, again, midday after work, looking very irritated, not smiling, as they often don't do in New York. And they're looking pretty messed up. He had a backpack with him, as he does. And he saw the note, and he kind of looked at it twice. Then he got it, and he picked it up, and he opened it because it had all the notes say, please open me. He opened it, he unfolded the heart-shaped thing. It was very cute. And all this crowd of people around him, he's reading this note, and like this is his look on his face. He's like, and the smile just started. And then he's like reading it, and he looked like, almost like he had tears in his eyes. He looked like, wow, he really needed to hear that. And I don't know what note it was, but I write different notes, so I write like 7 a day, and I don't know I don't know which one is which. And then he folded it back up, put it very neatly and carefully into that envelope, and held it near his hands. He didn't even put it in the backpack. He just held it on him. He went on a few more stops, and about a couple more stops later, he kind of sat there, went back to the frown, and then he went, and he opened it up again and read it again. And he looked at it again and went, And he carefully folded it back up, put it in, and he held it near his, like this, right near his heart. And when he got off the train, he grabbed his backpack, but he made sure that note was with him, and he went off the train. Kind of with a better step. He walked on the train, kind of trudging, slouched over. He left the train looking happy. And that was the reaction we saw. I've been doing this for since about April, all through New Jersey when I lived there, here in Brooklyn. And one time I went down the street in Brooklyn. I left about 14 letters on fences, taped them on people's fences, stuck them on the edge of a mailbox, in a bicycle seat. I have pictures of all this. I'm going to put up a new video soon of this, where I put these letters. And I came back and they were all gone. So somebody got them. I took one to a tree near an old person's home. And one of the things we want to do with the love letters, I've heard people do this, but this is also an idea. Call up. I read this years ago about acts of kindness. I'm actually in a book, and it's a book about kindness. So back in the 90s, there was a book called Random Acts of Kindness, started by somebody who had written it on a napkin in a restaurant. And in the book, they have little stories of kindnesses that were shown to people that really inspired me. Just great stories. There was like an old man who was fixing somebody's house, a carpenter, and he was really frowning and awful, and this woman said he was grumpy and he was fixing her bathroom or something, and in fact kind of yelled at her when she asked him to do anything, that he was one of the best carpenters. And she said when he came in the next day, she didn't really like his attitude. She was thinking about firing him just because he was mean and he never smiled and everything. And I believe in the book it talks about how she, the next day she left him a note saying that you're doing such a great job, just complimenting him on what he did well. And I want you to have this cup of coffee and this food. She left him a little meal. And when she came in the kitchen after he was done working that day, he was sitting there and he was crying. And he said, "Thank you. You really, really helped me because I was having a hard time. My wife died a few months ago, and I didn't think I could make it without her, and you've given me hope that maybe I will." Because he was thinking about taking his own life. She actually kind of stopped him from suicide. And that was in the book. And I thought, well, how beautiful. The book also said in the back, if you have an act of kindness you would like to talk about, send it to us. So I mailed them a letter. Didn't think about it anymore. About a year later, I received in the mail 2 of the books called More Random Acts of Kindness. It's a gift-sized book, and it's still in publication. And it had a letter with it, like I thought it was a rejection letter. And it said, "Thank you, we received about 1,000 entries. We can only use 25 of them in our book. And congratulations, you're one of the 25. So they published my story. Out of 1,000 entries, they chose 25 of us in this book, More Random Acts of Kindness. And I'm in page 110 to 112. And the book has been out since the 90s. And that kind of inspired me that when I heard about the love letter review, I said, well, that's my kind of thing. I'm really into it. I gave people copies of the book years ago. I said, why don't I give them their own love letter and do that for strangers, kind of with both. So that's what I thought was cool.
That is a really heartwarming stories that you're sharing, Angela. I hear your passion come through, and I know we could share about these kindness stories all day long. And I would like to add to the book, I would like to invite people to really start their own kindness experiment along the lines of what you have done, and also me as the invitation, just recently having gotten more outside myself. And what I would like to share a little bit now about what I am inviting people to do. I imagine that everyone on here is feeling just as inspired to go, because one thing I heard from you, and I'd like you to know, is that I just feel the vision of how kindness really not just can lift someone's spirit for the day, but honestly, what if it could change someone's life? And it's really just, wow, very touching to my heart. And so what I would like to invite people to, honestly, is to join our community. It's what I'm going to name it is the Dive Into Kindness Community Contribution Group. And if you're ready to really explore ways to challenge yourself and being kind to, it's really an investment in yourself and a way to put yourself out there and broadcast kindness, because not only do people really are hungry, I know that people are hungry for these stories. I know that people are hungry for what you particularly have to offer. And I know that I and people like Angela can support you if you choose that on your journey. And it's an incredible investment for yourself to be inspired and to also inspire others. So if you would like to join us, I would like you to learn more about how you can join this and what this is all about. You can click on the link below, which is below in this blog here, just below the kindness is the highest form of wisdom picture. There you can learn more about the challenge there, and you can also click on the link to join. Angela, do you have any questions for me about what this kindness community involves
Yeah, I actually have a couple things. I just wanted to share a quick story about how another one that was how you can help people. It's back in the also a long time ago. Some people remember that terrible tragedy of Pan Am 101 flying over Little Bean crashing, and it was a terrible story. There was a lot of New York students in it. I was flying the very next day out of New York, and it was a very and I'm afraid of flying, so I'm a nervous flyer. This is how it also helps you. If you are a person, you were talking about depression, but if you're a person who also has your own phobias, I'm a little afraid of flying. I can do it, but so I was on an airplane the next day after a terrible plane crash, and I was sitting beside a woman about my age at the time, and I was in my 20s, and she was more nervous than me. She was one of very vocal. I'm kind of quiet about it because I'm kind of sitting there, kind of white knuckling it. But she was going, "Are we going to be okay?" And she was freaking out, and she had been on planes for 2 days or something, and she was in the Air Force or some kind of service, and she was like nervous and talking, and I started calming her down, telling her what I know, what I've learned about my phobia, is that most planes make us the safest way to travel. You're more likely to be hurt in a car than you are in a plane, and etc. I was telling her all the reasons why it's safe to fly and that she should not be nervous, and it calmed me down completely. But the other part of the story that was amazing, she said, "Yeah, I came out of Germany 2 days ago," which is where the Lockerbie plane originated, by the way. It was Pan Am. She goes, "I was supposed to fly. I was supposed to be home by now because I came out of Germany. I was supposed to be on Pan Am, and I changed to it was on American Airlines. I was supposed to be on Pan Am, and I was supposed to go to England and then fly to here, to New York." And then she was on a flight to her home. And I said, "You were on Pan Am 101. She goes, "Well, my name is on it. I'm on the manifest and everything." And at the last minute, they offered me to get off the plane if I would give up my seat and I would take a different flight. And then I said, "So your name is on the manifest?" And she goes, "Yes." And I go, "Have you talked to your family? Have you tried to call them because you changed planes?" She goes, "No, I've been on planes for 3 days, so I'm all behind. I'm a day behind, and they expected me home yesterday on the Pan Am 101." And I go, "Did you know it crashed?" And she goes, "No." And she goes, "Are you serious?" And I said, "I wouldn't make that up." And I said, "Her name was still manifest." And I said, "You have to call your family." She goes, "Well, I did try to call them from the airport here in New York, and nobody answered the phone." And I said, "Oh, they're probably in New York where they were gathering the names to see who's on the flight, because her name was never taken off." And I said, "Can you call a neighbor that can contact them?" And she said, "Yeah." And so this is before we had cell phones, by the way, so we couldn't really text people or call. So she called on an international flight, and I reunited her with her parents. While she was on the plane, she got to talk to her family on an in-flight call, and they knew that their daughter did not pass away. But I also stopped her from, she thanked me profusely because she didn't know that her parents were already planning to have a service for her. They thought she was gone. So it helped me for my fight here, but it also helped me reunite a family that thought they were going to mourn the death of their child. So it really helped. And the thing with the questions I have for you, you said you have a group, right? Are you starting a group, or do you have a group already that you're involved with? I wanted to know more about that.
Oh, I am starting this group right now. This is what I'm starting.
Cool. You can do all kinds of kindness, right? Anything.
Right. And that's one thing that really, when you think about it, no act of kindness, no matter how small, is ever wasted. One thing that I'll share is that I went ahead and I went down to the Road Home Shelter in Salt Lake with a group of people that already are into kindness, the Soul Food USA, And I went ahead and started just handing out peanut butter jelly sandwiches. You know, I'm not used to interacting with people that hang around homeless shelters who may not have a house, and
Yeah.
and I just put down all my barriers, and I asked my spirit inside. I says, help me to just reach out to these people that have the same heart as I do, that have the same skin as I do, and that have the same needs that I do, to just really be present with them as I give them this little offering. And as I did, I noticed there was a lady that it just felt, as soon as she thanked me, she said, you know, thank you. And I felt it. I felt it right here. And after that moment, for the rest of the time handing out these sandwiches and this water, I just felt on a high that's incredible.
Yes.
And for the whole hour, I was just...
You fly, don't you? It's like, who needs marijuana? You just fly. You know, who needs weed? I'm up high all the time, and I'm kind of like that. I want to make a reminder that we've been doing stuff like this for years. Like, after we leave a restaurant, we have leftovers. I've handed it to homeless people here in New York because it just feels good to do it. But something I was reminded of by somebody I gave food to one time. We, after shows, sometimes we have dinner theater, we would have leftover food, and we would run out to Central Park and hand it out to all the homeless people. They are picky too. They are people. So if you had peanut butter and jelly sandwiches, we would sometimes take a loaf of bread and make different kinds of sandwiches to hand out to homeless people. Ask them what they want, because one of them said to me, as we handed them a sandwich, they go, "What's on it?" And we said, "Well, it's food. Don't you want food?" And they said, "I like to choose what I eat." And I go, "That's true. They are people. They may be homeless, but they do get to choose what they eat." So, you know, I don't like peanut butter, or they might be allergic to peanuts. To say, this is a ham sandwich with mayonnaise, you know. So always, when you are helping a homeless person, I found that it's also respectful and just kind to say, "Would you like some food?" Or, "Do you want me to go to McDonald's and buy you something?" If you don't want to give them money, say, if they're outside the McDonald's saying, I want coffee, say, "Well, how do you like your coffee?" And go and buy them a cup of coffee and give them, say, "Would you like a burger with that?" or something, because they might be picky. And secondly, you know, ask them what it is they really want. And that's also, strangely enough, about all of us with law of attraction. Some people say, "I want to win the Powerball," right? And I played it yesterday. I don't know what happened. But do you want to win the Powerball because of what it will buy you, or do you just really want, you know, several $1 million? Several $1 million would be nice, but they find that people who also win these lotteries, by the way, already know what they're going to do with it. Otherwise, they lose it. The ones who don't, they lose it very quickly. They spend it all. But what is it that you really want? So the same thing with people you give to. Ask them what it is they really want. If you're not going through charities, like you said, homeless people, ask them, would you like a sandwich, or did you want to buy something else? You know, and or did you want a drink, or did you want a soda, or something like that? And sometimes that's also a good way to, you know, be kind in spirit in that way. I find that's good.
Okay, and along with these lines, you know, someone like you, that you're so used to it, but for the average person like me, you know, I've had resistance getting out there, and these are things that, like giving clothes to my cousin's baby, the clothes that my daughter's just outgrown, and like, say, giving money to tip a dry food driver. These things I normally wouldn't think of, that the voice in the back of my head normally would just say, yeah, that's a good thing to do, but then I let my ordinary life get in the way. Yeah. And what I have found is that the way to actually push the envelope and to do this thing, and this is the reason I'm offering this challenge as a challenge and as a community, is because you're able to then, when you invest in yourself, make it a priority, make kindness a priority, so that you can uplift yourself and uplift others, because then, when I actually followed through with that little voice in the back of my head by tipping this this particular story, I've just I was going through, I'll just tell you, I was going through a drive-through at a Jimmy John's with my daughter, and we were hungry, and it was late, you know, a busy afternoon, and I get to the drive-up window, and this teenage boy answers the most incredibly, "Hi, welcome to Jimmy John's." Like, he was like, boom, I am so happy you're here. And it just like, whoa, I've never heard a drive-through driver be this happy and like be present with me. It wasn't just an act. It was like an honest, I'm so happy to be your server. I got up to the window, and I'm like, wow, you know, I know they take tips, but, you know, no, you need the money yourself. Well, no. What if I could actually experience a flow of money and kindness by giving him and telling him, look, thank you for adding a special piece to my day. So I did that, and I handed him the money, and I says, you know what a difference you're making in the world? You just made a difference in my world today. Thank you. And he's like, oh, thank you. I'm glad you recognized that. So,
yeah, people like to be recognized. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, kind words also are a good tip sometimes if you feel like you can't part with the money. And if you feel like, you know, you're there. In The Secret, the second book of The Secret, Rhonda Burns, she was talking about something that happened to her about giving. Also, what you give out comes back to you tenfold. And not that we give, as my mother taught me, you don't give with expectation of return. And I've had people through my life when I've done this, they say, yeah, but I give and give and give to people and I get nothing back. And I said, well, do you have a roof over your head? Do you have good food to eat? So you are getting back from the universe. It probably won't come from the person you gave it to, or it could, but it's not. That's not the point of giving. The giving is because, like you said, it makes you feel high. It feels so good that you've helped somebody. And pay it forward may come different ways. That person may tell somebody, they may not, but somebody else will give, because hearing our stories on the internet or whatever it is, that makes somebody else say, well, you know, I could do that. And there's even TV shows about this now. Like I said, they have Secret Millionaires coming up. People watch that. It's a really great show. And there's people out there who do that. And then don't put some people who do that. Rich people are not evil. Some people have said, well, Oprah gives, but then she doesn't do this. Well, you know, but look at the example. She gives and gives, and the woman money keeps coming into her, but she gives it away all the time. And she just can't, you know, that's what happens. When I was giving the love letters, again, just doing it because it's fun to do, and I like the idea of somebody surprisingly finding this, and like a little kid finding the dollar and saying, wow, I can go, you know, nowadays I can get a candy bar, and it's their own money. They get very excited, and it's cool to think that that's happening. That's what I imagine. I'm handing out the letters. I'm thinking that maybe somebody in the old people's home, which I was giving I wanted to give an example of that. If you call up the nursing homes, and I hate old people, but nursing homes, there are people in there who have no grandchildren that visit them. Some people just lock them up there and never visit again. Call up the nursing homes, ask them how many patrons they have there, see if you can get a list of their names, and mail a bunch of love letters to each person in the nursing home. And just say how great they are. And find out if they all speak English, because in my area they might speak Spanish, and get some Spanish speaking people to write Spanish letters to the people in the nursing home, or find a way to get it done. And you would make the day of these elderly people who gave their life to raise children or whatever it is they did, and now they're in their old age and nobody's talking to them in these nursing homes. And that's so sad. And why wouldn't you want to lift their days and be their pseudo-grandchild or their anonymous grandchild? Just say, this is your anonymous grandchild, you know, or anonymous friend who just thinks you're wonderful. Thank you for giving all these years to our Earth and our planet when you worked and all this stuff. And just say something kind to them, like, I think of you and I'm glad you're there. And maybe get a list of their names so you can ask them by name. Because one of the love letter places actually has every week, or they have an address of somebody who needs love letters, where a bunch of people will mail it to the company, you know, to the .com, which I think it's loveletters.com. It's on Facebook, but what they do is that you mail letters to them, the company, and then they mail it out to the person. Like one person gets like 50,000 letters. Well, I don't know if it's 50, but 1,500 or something like that. But I think it's great to do that, like maybe at a nursing home, or even a the children's ward of a hospital, or the elderly, the senior citizens, like in a hospital. And you can do that. You can even deliver those in person. I think I've heard of people going into hospitals with these love letters and notes and giving them to children or senior citizens that are in the hospital for a long time. I just think that's a great thing to do.
Oh, you know what, Angela, and I'm noticing that is such a good idea, and it only takes 5 minutes of your time to write a love letter or a few love letters, and then when you're out and about, to just quickly deliver them, and deliver them or put them in little public places where you already are. What a spectacular way to begin to spread kindness. And now, along with that, what I'd like to share with you is my vision and actually drum roll for the community that I'm building here. And what it is I would love for you to join with me. I would love for you to join with me in spreading kindness in the Dive into Kindness 30-day challenge. And when you join with me, what it is it's an investment in yourself where you pay $25 to actually buy the blogging platform that you'll be using in our community. You'll be plugged into our community called the Dive into Kindness Community Contribution Group, and you'll be able to every day do something outside of yourself, and then to share what happened, what experiences you had doing that, how that affected you, or even how that affected someone else. And my purpose in doing this is to begin to broadcast kindness out to the world and ripple it out to other people, because kindness is contagious. And when you do that, other people will notice. When we watch the news and we hear that so-and-so did something terrible today and is now in jail, and all of those things are broadcasted, those things can kind of get us down. And my purpose, get this is my juicy inspiration, is to begin to come together and ripple out in a way that's, going beyond our comfort zone and saying, look, this is what I experienced today. I just like to share for 2 minutes on this little YouTube video of what happened, and then you can share that with your friends on your blog site. Perhaps you already write a blog, or which I'll get into in a minute, or you can utilize this blogging platform that I actually am selling you, the Empower Network blogging platform, to be able to spread this kindness. And it's a 30-day challenge, and at the end of that 30-day challenge, I would like you to do an extra special blog post about how you've transformed during this time, or not, or just what your experiences have been. And I'm getting that you'll have had some changes and be able to then what I'm also offering here is that when you blog and you share, other people will notice, and when they join into this Dive into Kindness 30-day challenge community contribution, when they spend the $25 to utilize this platform, then what it's also offering you is a chance to earn that $25, because the commissions on this blogging platform are 100%. Now, I do have to give an income disclosure that just because you join in this project and you are doing this does not guarantee that you will make an income. However, I believe that this is a very good way to begin to not only spread kindness, but also to spread the wealth and to honor yourself and your own financial flows, because right now we can give $1. What if we could actually give even more, and $10, and build houses for people, all the way up to, think of the possibilities.
Oh, wow.
I get chills. Building houses for people eventually. Really, I mean, is it endless? Do you get the...
Building schools, you can build, I want to build schools where we teach kindness, and that we focus the thing on spirituality, on spirit itself, like giving out to others and teaching kids that part too, because they go to school, public school, and they learn the ABCs, etc., and the math, but they sometimes come out of school without any idea of how to treat other people, because there's the bullying going on in the schools. We could start programs in schools with this kind of thing. We could lead with that. Yeah.
Yeah, there's a lot of people asking for this right now, and so I would like to invite you personally, Angela. Would you like to join me for this 30 days of kindness?
I would love to join you for that, and I'm going to put out a special too, because I have my little thing, and this is going to be fun. This will help us all. Okay, if you mentioned this, that you saw this 30 days of kindness in her group, I am a psychic medium, and I do readings. Okay, I'm going to tell you my website, and if you, first of all, I'll have a little contest here. The person who sends me, does these acts of kindness, tell me what you did, and everybody who sends me an act of kindness will get $50 off my $100 an hour reading. So you can have a reading for $50. It's usually $100, and I'm going to have, I'll get 2 winners. Okay, let's say 2 winners. 2 people who do the biggest act of kindness that I love the most will get a free 1-hour reading. each. So that's 2 one-hour readings for free. But you have to send me on my email, I'll give it to you now, and tell me, say, act of kindness, or say a 30-day dive into kindness, and I will give you a discount and on my reading. So that way, you know, that'll be great. And in fact, I'll take all the readings I get for $50 an hour. I'm going to take, you know what? I'm going to put the money into. I'm going to put $1 into. Let me see. I need some just so I can survive, but that's how I make my living. But you know what? I'm going to take $10 of every reading I get and put it into envelopes. 10, like $1 each, 10 envelopes. That's 10 love letters with $1 in it for kids or for whoever finds my envelopes. So $10 per reading. So you're really getting. You're donating $10 to other people with the $50 rating. Now my email is angelaura28@yahoo.com. That's ANGELAURA28@yahoo.com. There's also a Gmail account, but I generally use the angelaura28@yahoo for my readings. And just like I said, put something in the subject line that tells me you saw this broadcast and you're joining her in the 30-day dive into kindness in any way you can. And you'll get the half price, and then and tell me what you're doing for kindness, for yourself or for others, and I will pick 2 kind of random and stuff like, I'll put them all together and say that which one that I think would be really great, and I would give 2 different 1-hour free readings too.
Okay, that is fabulous. You know, I would also like to see if we could put a time limit on that, about a week, since this is just getting started. Does that sound like a good idea to go ahead and put a...
Yeah, between now and 1 week, yeah. So you have 1 week on that, and then also if you join my giving group on Facebook, because she's on it, it's called The Giving Group. The email is love to give, I have to look it up. Maybe she can post it somewhere. I don't have it right now in front of me. It's called The Giving Group, Pay It Forward. It's under, and I'm Angela Theresa, so I'm Angela.Theresa on Facebook, but my group, I prefer you join the group, you know, until I know you and everything, because I have the group. If you join that, I'll give you $25 off a reading. There'll be no other contest, but I'll give you $25 off a reading, so $75 for an hour if you are not ready to do the other one right now. You know, or if you have friends you want to send. That's cool, too. Yeah.
Hey Angela, I'm so glad to meet you today. We have a lot in common here. And, I just pressed a button. I hope that we're still live. Okay, good.
Okay.
Yeah, and that is just so giving of you. And actually, I'm going to also ripple out my own contribution to people. For the first person that joins our community kindness contribution with the Empower Network blogging platform for the Dive Into Kindness 30-Day Challenge, I'm going to be giving you a free half-an-hour oracle card reading session. I've just been, what's the word, certified in that, and I enjoy doing that. I'm very gifted in that, and I would love to offer that as a free reading. You have to be the first person to join this group. So hop on that, and for the first 2 people after that to join this project, I will go ahead and send you a guidance to one question that you may have via email. One specific question, I'll go ahead and do that just because you've joined with us in starting to ripple out kindness and to invest in yourself and show the world, you know, make the world a better place around you. And I know that the world is waiting and hungry for what you particularly have to offer. And so I'm so excited and ready for you to just come and jump in. Take the plunge. Down below, click on the Dive Into Kindness image right now and join with us.
I don't have it, so you need to send it to me, because I don't have any kind of thing below here. I don't have any, I don't see the thing below here.
Yep, I will send that right
to me. And I said on the joining my giving group, the $25 off, just to say it will be the first 50 people get the 25 off. And then after that, if you join and you mention this, when you join the giving group, I also do card readings, and I can do some angel card readings for free for the people, the 50 after that. Angel card readings after that, yeah.
Great, and I would also like to add, there's two quick things to end with here. As far as this group that people might have questions about the monetary side of things.
Yeah.
If you're in that, maybe seeing this in the future, say if you already have a blog and you don't choose to use the Empower Network blogging platform, but you still would like to be a part of this dive-in challenge, I would be honored to have you join us. What you'll be able to do is to send me an email right now, because my blog at this point doesn't support a PayPal link. But if you send me an email stating that you would like to join the actual Dive Into Kindness community contribution group for 30 days, where you will be with others and uplift and inspiring and putting out your broadcast kindness messages on your blog, what you'll do is send me an email, and I will send you a link to pay. The payment for using your own blogging platform is only $47 if you're using your own blogging platform, and I'll go ahead and be happy to set you up with us in our group. And the last thing is, so there's those two things. See, it's skipping my mind right now. Let's see. If I think of it, I'll put it in my blog. I would like to actually end with a kindness to you all. It's my gift to you for coming and watching this. I actually am a singer, and I just love to sing. And I have a song to sing that's that actually wanted me to sing for you guys. Is that good?
Yeah.
Is that great? Okay. I'll go ahead and pull it up here and sing it to y'all. I'm going to actually tell you the first two verses, and I'll sing the last verse. It'll cap off this beautiful hour that we've had here at the new Adventures to Kindness show. And it's in a world where sorrow... Well, wait, let me tell you the title. The title is Scatter Sunshine. In a world where sorrow ever will be known, where are found the needy and the sad and lone. How much joy and comfort you can all bestow if you scatter sunshine everywhere you go. Scatter sunshine all along your way. Cheer and bless and brighten every passing day. Scatter sunshine all along your way. Cheer and bless and brighten every passing day. Slightest actions often meet the sorest needs. For the world wants daily little kindly deeds. Oh, what care and sorrow you may help remove with your songs and courage, sympathy and love. Scatter sunshine every passing day. Scatter sunshine all along your way. Cheer and bless and brighten every passing day. And I'll sing you this. When the days are gloomy, sing some happy song. Meet the world's repining with a courage strong. Go with faith undaunted through the ills of life. Scatter smiles and sunshine o'er its toils and strife. Scatter sunshine all along your way. Cheer and bless and brighten every passing day. Scatter sunshine all along your way. Cheer and bless and brighten every passing day.
Very good.
Thank you. Yeah, you're a singer too, so I'm glad I could share my voice with you. And
yeah. I didn't have a song prepared, so we'll do it next time.
Yeah, we'll have fun during this challenge together, and I can't wait to see who's going to be hopping in with us. So click on the button to join us, and Angela, I'll go ahead and send you the link. That ends the first Adventures in Kindness interview broadcast. Woo! Premier celebration with Angela, Theresa. What more can we do in the world to spread kindness today?
Clapping in sign language. This is clapping in sign language, so for all the deaf people, you can sign up too, the same as us.
Oh,
so deaf
that
can too.
Okay. Thank you so much, Angela. We'll talk soon.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.